Welcome to the podcast, Accounting, We Go Beyond the Numbers, from Ross Bueller Falk, a CPA and business advisory firm. I'm Kay Wagner, your host for this podcast series. You'll receive great business advice here, including accounting, tax tips, and a whole lot more that will help you grow your business. Here we go. So, Ken, I'm delighted that you're on the podcast with us. Welcome.
Thank you.
And I want to introduce to you Ken Falk of Ross Bueller Falk. And Ken is a partner and a CPA with the firm. And just to give you a sense of who Ken is by the numbers, and then we'll talk about his experience and background. Ken has been married to Diane for how many years now?
36.
36 years. And you have two daughters.
What am I saying? No, what am I saying? I'm missing 5 years.
Oh, my gosh.
41.
Okay, well, maybe we won't let Diane know about that little slip. You have two daughters. Do you have more than one grandchild?
Just one grandchild currently.
Okay, one grandchild, right. And you've been at RBF, at Ross Bueller Falk, for 30, how many years?
Well, since the start in 1985.
Okay, all right, good. In the past, you've been on the YMCA, the Lancaster YMCA board. You were also captain of the U.S. Tennis Association, the adult league teams, and went to the regional playoffs. Yeah. And you're still doing that?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's great. And I think at one point you went to the national playoffs, right?
Correct. Been lucky enough to go 2 different times for 2 different levels.
Well, that's great. Congratulations on a great
tennis
skills. And let's talk about your accounting skills. So you have your CPA and you're a partner. And when I look at your bio, I see that you are a graduate of York College.
Mm-hmm.
And you are one of the founding members, right, of RBF?
Yes.
All right, great. So great history with the firm, very integral part of the firm's growth over the years as a partner. And one of the things that you guys talk about at RBF is about being a trusted advisor. And so what we want to do in today's podcast is to talk about what that term actually means and what the implications are or the benefits are really for your clients. So let's start with your definition of what the term trusted advisor means.
To say it very simply, and to borrow a phrase from Ghostbusters, it's who you going to call. So when you're thinking about, looking at new projects, or you just want to get the feedback from somebody that you trust and you have confidence in their ability to see the big picture rather than just get lost in the detail, it's that person that you're going to call. So it's a person that you build a deeper relationship with, and it's a person that you expect not only to answer your direct questions, but also come back with comments about other alternatives, different solutions, and what else they should be pursuing, or possibly what other relationships or specialists they might be, engaging to help them make any major decisions and those type of things.
Mm-hmm. So give us a couple of real-life examples of, some relationships that you've had with clients where being a trusted advisor really had an impact.
There's been quite a few, but I do a lot of contractors, and, they're going through a succession issue usually every 10, 15 years just by the nature of their business and kids moving on, or if it's not a family-owned business, which many of them aren't any longer, you're dealing with, okay, you can't wait until the last day when somebody's ready to retire to have a plan in place that effectively transfers the ownership and, more importantly, the leadership of the company. So, it's a long-term planning process that you need to go, and, I have had to suggest unique ideas to get those transitions done because of the requirements for a contractor, not only from a financing standpoint to maintain their equity, but also the bonding requirements for many of these that are, of a larger size and work on the bigger projects.
And those bonding requirements are sometimes based on the individual's status or net worth? Or it's
to a
independent
small
of that?
degree, it's mainly the workload of the client, what type of projects they get into, how well they can be bonded by what the bonding company is looking to do. But the bottom line is they need to maintain a certain level of working capital and equity as they transition the business from one owner to another, or even when you're doing just a small ownership transfer, you can't let them do it in a way that they go beyond the thresholds and all of a sudden they're not eligible for bonding. And now they can't compete in their market, like they have had before.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had several contractors look at a unique scenario of going through a joint venture ownership type of transfer that allows you to transfer the ownership as you go, and for the new team to be building up the equity and the working capital as you go through your transition over a 7 to 10 year period.
So is that typically what you suggest as far as planning goes?
No. It's every situation's unique. Every owner has different goals, and you got to start with understanding what is the goals of the client or the current owner, and how does that match with the company goals, and are their goals realistic, and it's respecting their goals even though you might not totally agree with them. But our main objective is to help our clients reach their goals, not necessarily. It doesn't always translate to be the best course of action for us and our services. So, we're always trying to make the decision in the best interest of the client.
Right. So what is the impact on a business or on a leader if they don't have someone like you who is, truly a trusted advisor?
Well, they're sometimes operating in a vacuum from the standpoint that they're just not sure of the decisions they make in the processes as they start. And if you're not doing those processes with confidence and, feeling that, okay, this is the right course of action and this is what we're going to do, as you know, it doesn't work out very well a lot of times. And, people if they don't have a trusted advisor to connect with, even if that trusted advisor doesn't have the answer, usually they're connecting them with the right people that do. So if they don't have that network system, they're not getting the best answers to make the decisions they need to make, which sometimes reflects in not as positive results as they try to do these transitions.
How would you suggest for both sides of the relationship, from your perspective and from the client's perspective, how best to develop that kind of relationship, that kind of trusted advisor relationship? What goes into that?
It's usually times separate from just the normal processes of coming out and doing their year-end financial statements or tax returns. It's having meetings where you get to know each other, and you never build that type of scenario, day one. There's different building blocks that are laid even in that very first meeting, because you want to know what the goals of the client is so you know what you're trying to help them get to long term. And sometimes, till you get into that role, that feeling that, okay, when I have these different scenarios, this is who I'm going to call. It might take a year or two before you're developing that type of relationship and confidence in the person that's, calling for the advice.
Mm-hmm. So time and trust are part of that.
The trust is so sacred that, we go beyond normal means to make sure that trust is always there.
Mhm. Okay, good. And finally, what, from a client's perspective, what do you see that they value as benefits of the kind of relationship that you have as a trusted advisor? What are they valuing in that?
Well, they're getting something more than just a standard tax return. They're getting suggestions. There's always pre-planning because of these type of engagements where you're trying to plan things at the same time, take care of the current business load. From a financial standpoint, you're always looking at alternatives. But I guess the way to say it in one little sentence is you're helping them develop and maintain a accurate understanding, or you're showing the client that you really understand their business, their needs, and expectations.
Terrific. Well, Ken, I think I have seen you in action. I've seen you with clients. I know that people place a huge value on the relationships that they have with you. And I know that you really, walk the walk as far as being a trusted advisor. So kudos to you for that.
Thank you. And, that's the part of the business that I enjoy the most. So hopefully that shows.
It does. It does. You are well loved by your clients. I know that. So, okay. Thank you, Ken, for participating in this podcast. And we will be talking with you in our next podcast about successful businesses. So we will talk to you soon. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you.
That's it for today, folks. Visit rbfco.com, that's rbfco.com, for more information on accounting that goes beyond the numbers. This is your host, Kay Wagner, for Ross Bueller Falk. Our next episode is coming soon. Don't miss it.